Hi everyone, it's about 7:15 in the morning. I've come down to the river. The tide is on the way out. It's still a little bit dark, so I'm going to have my headlamp on for a little while until it gets a bit lighter, but it's just so peaceful. And the moon is looking absolutely stunning. So I can't wait to see what we're going to find today, if anything. Let's go and find out. Now, I've just seen something down here which has piqued my curiosity. I've not seen a bullet like this before. It's pretty mangled, but it's definitely a bullet, isn't it? Okay, bullet experts. What kind of bullet is this? If indeed it is a bullet. And just here, next to the bullet, I've seen this piece of metal. Now, it could just be a piece of metal, but I'm always hopeful that there might be something on the metal, stamped on it, you know, or a pattern on it, or a name on it. Let's see what there is on this one, if anything. Out it comes, and ooh, what have we got here? I can see something there, look. See? There's definitely a number. But before I take it down to give it a rinse off, I just want to see if there's anything else down there. What's that? That looks like a stone, doesn't it? That looks like a stone. Well, what have we got here then? Let's get down to the water's edge and wash it off, although I can do it in this puddle. Oh, this is a nice tag. Oh, this is just the kind of thing I love. It was probably attached to some cables or something. Oh, look at that! Something, I don't know, pleasing about them. Ooh, look, how nice. Oh, I am loving this. I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving it. Four cores, hoopers. Well, I mean, at one point in time, this meant something to somebody, didn't it? That's beautiful. That really is beautiful. Is there a date on there, I wonder? Could there be a date? Oh, well, it could be 1890 something. And we've got hoopers. Well, I'm going to find out a lot more about that. If anybody knows anything, feel free to let me know. But yeah, oh, I'm delighted. That's just lovely, really lovely. Never ignore little pieces of metal poking out of the mud. That's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, labels were so much more aesthetically pleasing back then, weren't they? And I wonder if that is the date. 1893. Wow. Now look at this. Isn't it quaint? Now that is part of a pipe stem. And often pipe stems are an art form in themselves. I've got so many pipe stems that have such beautiful designs on them. And this one is really nice too. It's a little hand clutching the stem, and I would guess that that is a gun, and so the stem would have actually been the barrel of the gun. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like a trigger there, doesn't it? How lovely is that? One of these days I'm going to get all my pipe stems out and go through them. There's some with animals on. There are beautiful floral designs, little dogs sat on them, mice on them, little fish wrapped around them. It's just another example of how creative these clay pipe makers were back in the 19th century. I really like that. And a tiny piece of willow plate. What a cute little arrangement. Well, look what we've got here. It's another gun. It's another gun. Now, I'm not quite sure what this one is, so I will send it to my friend. Well, I'll send a photo to my friend Graham, and he will let me know if this is a BB gun or if it's a real gun, and I shall take it into the police, depending on what he says. It's really important to hand in found weapons to the nearest police station. Just bear that in mind if you do find weapons of any kind like this, or ammunition. Well, over here I have just seen something round. Hopefully a coin or something similar. And hopefully not a modern coin. Or maybe it's a button. It's here, look. I haven't picked it up yet. Let's have a look. Oh, it is a button. It is a button, and oh, it's lovely. Now that looks like a, oh, what's it called? A livery button, maybe. I think that's a, is that a stag? And a crown? Oh, that's nice, isn't it? We'll have to see if we can identify that. It could be military, or it could be some kind of family crest. Lovely. Now, can I see a coin down here? Let's go take a closer look. There it is, look. Now, is that a coin? Let's take a look. Well, yes it is. It looks very warm though, doesn't it? Look. It could be a little farthing or something. I will give it a little clean up when I get home. And hopefully we'll be able to see what it is. I don't even know if it is. I don't even know if it is a coin, actually. It certainly looks like one, doesn't it? I don't know. It seems to have some sort of little circles on it. Maybe it's a washer or something industrial. Can you see? It looks like it's got some sort of little indentations in it, or that could just be general wear and tear, couldn't it? Okay, home with it. And let's see what we can find out. Now I've just spotted something down here peeking out of the mud. Very tantalising. Take a look at this. Can you see what I'm looking at? Now, it just looks a little bit too big to be a modern 2p. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. See that there? It looks more likely to be an old penny, I think. Let us see. Let's see. Let's take it out. Come on, little coin. What are you? Show yourself. Oh, my hands are really cold. It's a chilly old day. Yeah, I am right. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful... Looks like a Queen Victoria, doesn't it? You can see her hair. That is lovely. Look at that. I'll clean it off better later so you can take a closer look. That looks like a young Victoria. And what have we got on this side? Can we see the date? I don't want to take my gloves off. Ah, I think it's 61, 1861. What a lovely find. A lovely find. Queen Victoria. I wonder whose pocket this coin was last in before it was handed right down through history to me and to you all. There's a piece of pottery down here which just looks like a plain piece of pottery initially when you see it, and then as the tide was going out I saw a little face on it. Look, there it is. See that little face? I rather like that. A little face staring up at me from the waves. Let's see if I can replicate how it was when I first saw it. When you want the tide to go over something, it won't. Yeah, I like that. I wonder what the whole design is like. Now this is a pipe stem, as you know. Well, the reason I'm picking it up is because it's got that design on it, which is quite unusual for me. I don't usually find pipes from the 18th century with a design on the stem, so that's really nice. Because I'd say that the stem probably dates to the early 18th century, and so mostly the pipe stems that I find from that time are completely plain. So that's a bit of a novelty. Now, I just saw this broken bottle top here, and was going to ignore it, to be honest. But then I noticed that the top of the cork is red. And then I noticed that there's actually some kind of little design on it there, look. See? Maybe it's wax. So I'm going to take that and have a look and see what it is. I would guess that it's maybe early 19th century, early to mid. But if I can decipher what that says, I might be able to find a more precise date. I do love a good mystery. Something else I found with red wax on it, which I always like to pick up, is this pipe stem here. You see the wax on there? The wax used to be put on the end of the stem so that it didn't stick to people's lips. The clay didn't stick to their lips. So that will join my other waxed pipe stems. I'm going to have to do a video about pipe stems. I can feel it coming. Now look, over here we've got signs of another pipe. Can you see it? Just down here. So, I think it may be, hopefully be a decorated one. Is there a stem on there? We will soon find out. We'll soon find out. Oh yes, yes. There is. Now look at it there. Oh, this is going to be a pipe with some form of decoration on it. Now that's a treat. That is a treat. What's it going to be? Oh, the stem's not very long, but I think the pattern might make up for that. Let's give it a rinse. Come on, let's see, what have you got on you? Wow, that's rather nice, isn't it? It's very floral, I think. Some kind of floral design. Ah yeah, there is a rose, and a rose on the other side too, I think. I've got quite a few rose and thistle pipes, but this looks as if it's got a rose on both sides, but we'll probably be able to see it better when it fades. Lovely. Now, I just saw this wooden handle poking out of the mud, and it was already broken, but I decided to investigate a little bit further down into the mud to see what's on the other end, and it's this. Pretty nice old tool by the looks of it. Look at that. I'm going to take that home and see if I can put it back together. Some kind of, well, some kind of tool, I'm not quite sure what. It looks a bit like a screwdriver, but I don't think it is. Lovely wooden handle, and it's in really good condition. Let's see what I can do with that. Well, I'm just on my way home, but I have bumped into my friend, my mudlarking friend, Kevin. And here he is. Oh, Kevin, you found my pipe.
That's correct.
That is a
Not
nice
bad,
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Say early 1700s.
Yeah. Not bad.
Lovely. Did you find anything else today?
I've got some more pipes.
Some more pipes. Ooh, a little bag of goodies.
That'd be great.
Now Kevin has actually been on one of my previous videos. You may have already seen him. I'll wait for this boat to go by. Oh, nice. Yeah, a nice little handful of clay pipes. We all love a clay pipe, don't we?
I did find a candidate for your Thames toy collection.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I can find it.
A tiny one then?
Yeah.
Got too many pockets.
Yeah. Somewhere here.
When you're ready, Kev?
Yeah. Take the time.
Never mind, he'll be there somewhere. Have a look for it afterwards. But Kevin has now started a YouTube channel about mudlarking. So, Kevin, when did you start your channel?
Oh, it's a few months now. About 5 months, I think.
Yeah, and what is the name of it?
It's Kevin Dyer. It's a bit awkward. Medway Mammalian Mudlark.
Okay, so that's Kevin Dyer, Medway Mammalian Mudlark. So I've seen a few of Kevin's videos and they're really great. I love his style. He has a lot of music with his. You don't speak a lot in your videos,
No.
do you?
I'm actually quite nervous about speaking, as you can probably tell now.
Oh. Well, actually it's really relaxing the way you do your videos. So when you get a chance, do go over and take a look at Kevin's channel and subscribe to his channel. And I'm sure that you're going to enjoy his videos, and he has some fantastic finds as well. Kevin has found several really great traders' tokens and other objects, and he really goes into the history of them too. So do go and check out Kevin's channel. And do you have an Instagram account as well, Kevin?
I do. That's Kevin James Dyer.
Kevin James Dyer. Well, I'll put the links on. And well, good luck, Kevin. Good luck. I hope it goes really well. It's always hard when you first start a YouTube channel. It takes a while to build it up, but I'm sure you'll get lots of subscribers.
Hope so.
And also, here is Julia. And Julia has found a beautiful pipe today. I'm very envious. It's a lovely Turk's head pipe. Look at that. Can I take a look? Sure. Look at him. I love these Turk's head pipes. So full of character. Probably early 1800s, I think, these ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've actually got one very similar. I think it's his lost twin. Lovely. And you've also found some really nice things as well over the years, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I learned from Kevin, so just sort of followed him about, and luck came to me, really.
How long have you been mudlarking then?
2 years, I think.
2
On
years.
and off.
And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it was hard during the pandemic when you couldn't do it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm back and glad to be back.
Brilliant. Well, good luck. I hope you
Thank
find many wonderful things. And yeah, I'm off home now. Tide's coming up. It's amazing how quickly it comes up, actually, isn't it? So, see you soon. Oh, you found it. Here it is. Here's the Thames toy.
I think it's a Mario or
Oh,
something.
yes, it is a Mario. Yes, it is. Are you giving that to me?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I've got a huge community of Thames toys, as you probably know, and he will fit right in to them.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much. I've even got a Mario, actually, like a larger Mario. Brill. Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching that little mudlarking expedition where I was out searching for pieces of history washed out at low tide and left on the mud for me to find. And so here I am in my studio with these objects next to me, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about them in a moment. But first of all, I just wanted to say that I hope that wherever you are in the world that you're staying safe and keeping healthy, and that you're enjoying the onset of spring, if indeed where you are, spring is on the way. Here in London, it certainly is. It's blue skies outside and the mornings are so much lighter. They're not pitch black and the birds are singing, and it just makes me want to jump out of bed in the morning with a spring in my step. And I just also feel so much more hopeful, and we all need hope at the moment. And so here I am in my studio, and I just feel so very, very fortunate to be here sitting in this studio surrounded by all these objects which I love so much, which I've found over the years at low tide along the Thames and on the River Medway and along various beaches all over the world. When I was a little child, I always wanted a little space where I could keep my found treasures, and at that stage it was little pieces of bird egg shell, not the whole egg, let's get that clear, feathers, snail shells, bits of lichen and seed pods, that kind of thing. And now, years and years later, I think that dream has kind of come true, where I'm able to be in a room surrounded by little treasures that I've collected over the years. So it's also such a great privilege to be able to share something that I'm passionate about with so many people. So thank you very much for sharing these adventures with me. It just means that they can just become even more special because so many people are sharing in them. So I'm now going to attempt to hold your attention for at least another 15 minutes whilst I give you a scintillating roundup of the objects which featured in today's video: bullets, tags, buttons, pipe stems, bits of pottery, screwdrivers. And so if you don't find it fascinating, well, maybe it will help you drift off into a very peaceful sleep. But either way, I hope you enjoy it, you'll sleep all the talk, and let's get started. So first of all, what about the explosive find at the beginning, which is the gun? Well, of course, it's always really important when we find guns over here in this country to hand them in to the authorities. And so I don't actually have the gun anymore, but I did send a picture to my friend to get an ID on it, and it is, I've got my book here so I don't make any mistakes, it is in fact a blank fire pistol. More precisely, a Glock 9mm semi-automatic blank firing pistol, legal to own in the UK. But as I don't actually need one, the police now have that gun. Now, the next explosive find was the bullet, that strange looking bullet, which I don't have either, so I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. And we find so many different bullets from so many different eras along the River Thames, often related to the war, World War II, World War I, other conflicts. And so it's always interesting to know a little bit more about them. And that one, when I was researching it, I came to the conclusion that it's probably quite an early cartridge, but I'd love to know more about it. So any ammunition experts out there, if you can more precisely pinpoint where and when that bullet came from, that would be really useful. So thank you very much in advance. Now, probably one of the most interesting things that I found during that outing is this resplendent tag here. And this tag is linked to the history of communication. Now, close to where I live, which is Greenwich in southeast London, there is Enderby Wharf, and it is there where the first cables that were laid under the Atlantic, the first submarine cables, were manufactured. And of course this revolutionised communication, and it's such a huge topic, really interesting, and I've got quite a few little artefacts related to those transatlantic cables. And this is actually one of them, and I've got the Twitter community to thank for that. It's brilliant, Twitter. It's such a good resource. When you post something on Twitter, there's always somebody who knows something about it. And so this tag comes from one of the companies which manufactured those transatlantic cables, submarine cables. And it was founded by William Hooper in 1870 to manufacture and lay submarine communications cables. It really did revolutionise communication, something that was previously impossible to do. And then all of a sudden, people are able to send telegraphs to one another, and you can just imagine what a huge miracle that must have been. Of course, now we totally take it for granted with telephones and all sorts of things, but at that time there was nothing like it before. So a really, yeah, really cool piece of history, this tag, so I'm really happy to have found that. In fact, I think that maybe I need to show it to the museum. There's a museum down in Cornwall which is all about that sort of transatlantic cable industry and the history of telecommunications, and they may well be interested in it. You never know. So moving on from that, my next favourite find has to be this button here, which is adorned with a rather magnificent looking goat who has a crown on top of his head. And this is a livery button, and thanks to Kevin, I found a very good Facebook page which is called Livery Buttons and Badges. So I was able to have the button identified. But first of all, what is a livery button? Well, they were linked to noble families in Great Britain, and they're usually 19th century, and it wouldn't have been the nobility themselves who actually wore those buttons, but the people who worked for them, like the stable boy or the butler or the page boy, and on the button is something to do with their family crest. And so it's always interesting to try and find out which family these buttons originate from. So this one with the magnificent goat and the crown, I was able to find out, thanks to the Livery Buttons and Badges page on Facebook, give it a follow, that it comes from Viscount Chetwynd, and it was a Richard who identified it in less than a minute, I think. I posted it on there, and straight away he said, that's from Viscount Chetwynd. And so they had obviously a goat in their family crest, and it's also useful to be able to pinpoint exactly which Viscount Chetwynd, and we can do this by looking at the mark on the back of the button to see the maker. And on the back of this button there is I. McGowan from Gerrard Street in London, which dates it to 1810 onwards. And so in all probability the Viscount Chetwynd that this button came from is Richard Walter Chetwynd, who was born in 1800 and died in 1879. So it's interesting to ponder on how that button got in the river. Somebody from Viscount Chetwynd's family home was maybe having a little visit to London, and somehow or other his button fell off his uniform into the River Thames, and now it's here in my collection. I do have another nice livery button, actually, rather similar, but this one is a stag. I don't know, but if I had the choice between having a stag and a goat on my livery button, then, and having my page boys and butlers and everything wear the livery buttons, I think I'd go for a stag, wouldn't you, rather than a goat? Having said that, this goat is rather noble as far as goats go. So that's that for the buttons. So now let's have a little foray into the world of pipe stems, and back to something a little bit explosive, which is this little fragment here, which is a hand grasping a rifle. You can just see his finger there on the trigger. Now, pipe stems, I always marvel at them. There's so many amazing designs. You get great pipe bowls, but you also get fantastic pipe stems. So always check your pipe stems, because you never know what you might find lurking on them. Like this cheeky little fella here, which is a little head of a dolphin fish-like creature. And my all-time favourite pipe stem that I have ever found is this one, which has a little horse galloping up the stem. So yeah, check your stems. You never know what you might find. You get some with little dogs sitting on the top as well, all sorts of little designs. And then, of course, we've got the pipe stem with the red wax on, which I've got here. I've got a few here, actually, from my collection, my rather huge pipe stem collection. I do pick these up because they're quite interesting. They've got the red wax on, which was to stop the clay from sticking to your lips. And it's, yeah, it lasts so well. What else have I got here? This bit of pipe stem here, which I picked up because, like I said, it's unusual to find an 18th century pipe stem with a bit of milling on it like that. So it was worth picking up. It's quite rare. Most of the pieces are completely plain. I've got an 18th century pipe here with some milling on the stem, but it's quite unusual to find them like that. More often than not, there's absolutely nothing on the stem whatsoever. I'm going to have to do a video on pipe stems. I'm going to have to do it because I have to say that I've got a great collection of stems, and there's just so much you could say about them. I mean, imagine that. That will send you off into an even better beautiful sleep. And then, of course, keeping on the theme of pipes, here is today's pipe find, and it's got a rose on both sides. Let's spend a little moment on this piece of pottery here, which could come from a Victorian apothecary jar, apparently. I'm not absolutely certain. If you think you know, please let me know. But certainly some of the older style apothecary jars have little faces on with sort of angel wings coming up from them. And it's possible that this one is a Victorian apothecary jar fragment. Now, as I've been sitting here talking to you about those things, I suddenly realised that I forgot to put on the table one of the key finds. I'm really glad it suddenly came to my mind. So I'm going to quickly grab it. Yes, here it is in my cabinet. I can't believe I nearly forgot that. I do that so often. Ooh, dropping it now. I get to the end and think, oh no, I forgot that. Right, so I'm glad I remembered. I've got this, it's the red wax that reminded me, because this has got red wax on it too. It's this cork in this bottleneck with the red wax on. Now, I haven't managed to find out anything much at all about what is on the top. The only word I can really read on there with any clarity is Durham. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen, and if any of you have any ideas, then please let me know. But it's quite special to find a cork with that wax on it still there. So it would be great to know what it was for, maybe some kind of medicine as well. So there we are. Quite exciting. I'm glad I remembered that. I got to the end of the video and thought, oh no. Right, what else? This little coin, which, well, it's not a coin. I thought it was a coin. I did clean it off, and it's like a little token. It's got 4 letters on it. I think it's CCHP or something like that. I found something similar to this a little while back, and it's probably some kind of little token, and we're probably never really going to know what kind of token it was and what it would have paid for. But I do like it, a bit like that tag really. There's something about metal with letters or numbers stamped into it. There's just something about it which I like. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I like it. What else have I got here? I don't want to forget anything else. A magnificent screwdriver. Now, as you can see, the wood hasn't really sort of lasted terribly well. I need to brush up on my wood preserving skills. When it comes out of the mud, it always looks so very lovely. It was really plump and shiny and healthy looking when it came out of the mud. It's not looking quite so healthy now. But this turns out to be quite an old screwdriver, a vintage screwdriver. Either early 20th century, or even late 19th. And it does have a tiny maker's mark on it of warrior. So any tool experts out there, and if you know anything about vintage screwdrivers, any experts, then please feel free to give me more details on this screwdriver. Now behind me here I have a couple of toys, and I'm going to tell you about those in a minute because I'm going to tell you about the Thames adoption scheme. But before I do that, I just realised I kind of forgot something that I was going to mention, which was going to lead on to the toys. Kevin gave me this little Mario. Thank you very much, Kevin. Very, very kind of you. And I found the other Mario here amongst my plastic toy collection. So now Big Mario's got a little friend. And so this is where the connection of the toys comes in. I am finally getting the adoption scheme up and running. For those of you who watch my videos, you may have heard me mention it. I do find a huge amount of toys washed up on the river, and I refer to them as my Tideline Art Thames toy orphans. And so I have so many of them now, I've decided I need to give them new homes. And so a couple are sitting here behind me, but I have very, very many of them. And actually, if you've never watched my videos before, you're probably wondering what on earth I'm talking about. But anyway, keep watching and you'll find out about the adoption scheme, which you'll be able to check out after this video, because all going well after I've done this recording, unless I have to do it again, which sometimes happens, I'm going to get this up on my Ko-fi site. So you will have the opportunity to adopt a Thames orphan that I have found up washed on the river. Now, they obviously look a lot worse than this when I find them, but they have been in the washing machine. But apart from having a good wash, they haven't had a lot done to them. So what I'm saying is you're going to find animals with like 3 legs, like this kitten. This monkey has seen better days. They need some love and care and attention. And so they are looking for happy homes. So I probably am going to put up about 20 or 25 toys for adoption, and it's going to work like this. It's going to cost £25 plus shipping, and £5 will go to Save the Children charity. And so they will also come with a certificate to say that they were found along the River Thames by myself, and that they are looking for a home, and you can give them a name. And if you do adopt one, it would be great if you could send me a photograph of them in their new home, because I may do like a little compilation about all the Thames orphans. So you'll be able to have a look at that on my Ko-fi site after this video. I'll put the link up in the description of the video. So I think that is all that I've got to say. So you're either firm asleep now or you're still absolutely riveted. Either way, I'd love to wish you a beautiful week ahead, and I'd like to say thank you again for watching my videos and allowing me to share my love of the River Thames and found objects with you. I'd like to thank you for all the comments that you leave on my videos. And I'd like to also say a big thank you to everybody who has donated to my Ko-fi account. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much, everyone, just for being you. And please go on to have a good week. And I very much look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, I need you, how I need you by my side, and I want you. The Lord may know that I have tried to be honest, to be naked, unashamed. I wanna know you more, I really wanna know you more. And it ain't easy to get back on your feet again, and I hold on sooner or later. Tell me I feel lonely when I'm drifting out tonight, and I'm homeless without a single land in sight. What I need is to feel the ground beneath my feet. I wanna know you more, I really wanna know you more. And it ain't easy to get back on your feet again, and I hold out sooner or later. Tell me when, everlasting. No, my desire is a burden and a blessing, and a burden and a blessing, and a oh, I need you, how I need you by my side.
You know, I haven't seen Squirrel for a few days, and then I heard a little rattle at my cat flap. And here he is. It's nice and early, I'm just about to go down to the river, but he's come for his breakfast. Here you are, little squirrel. I was beginning to worry about you. Do you want to come and have some kiwi fruit? Come on then. Come on then. There you are, look. Try that. No, okay. Not too keen on that. Not first thing in the morning. There you go. There you are. Who wants kiwi fruit first thing in the morning? Now I've got a dilemma because I have run out of nuts. So I think I'd better go on an errand. Oh, that's it, he's going to have to go for the kiwi fruit now. Oh. No, I've run out of nuts. I've run out of nuts. Maybe there's some on the floor. Oh dear, what am I going to do? Not going to be very popular. No, I've run out of nuts, little squirrel. Oh, there's one there actually. There's one just here. Okay, here's one more. There you go. That is your lot. You're going to have to try the kiwi fruit.